Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. I would say probably over the past year or so, there have been a few times where I talked about potentially granting amnesty to members of the secret control group who are responsible for this UFO cover-up in an effort just to get this over with, in an effort just to get disclosure already, just to end it, because a lot of these people might be afraid of legal repercussions. Now, I brought this up a few times, and I guess in my mind, I just want to see disclosure happen. So, the reason I argue that, maybe that's what we need to do. I mean, in order just to get this over with, to get disclosure, let's just get over the hump and just forget about the past. But there are a lot of people who follow my channel who don't like that idea, and they believe that these people need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and serve time in prison. Now, my argument, one of the reasons I'm in favor of something like this is because, who started this? The people who are responsible, are dead. This has been going on for decades, right? The people who started this are long gone. They're not here anymore. So that's why I favor something like this, because if it will help, if it's going to help us end this whole cover-up, well, then that's why I'm in favor of it. And I understand why some other people might say, well, no, these people need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But now, I guess what's interesting is that about a week ago, Liberation Times, which is that news source that I talk about a lot, the writer there, Christopher Sharp, puts out a lot of good articles on this whole UFO phenomenon with relation to what's going on in Congress. And he had an article just about this. And basically, here's the headline. It says, Senate Intelligence Committee proposes amnesty to defense contractors for disclosure of non-Earth origin or exotic materials in approved UFO language. So actually, the Senate is pushing through this law that if it passes with the next National Defense Authorization Act bill for 2024, if this gets approved, that means that these people would be given amnesty. Now, of course, I would like to see disclosure happen right now, right? Not next year. To me, this means we'd have to sit around waiting until next year, where a lot of us are hoping that we might see something finally come before the end of this summer. But this might be something that's needed, I guess, possibly, potentially, I don't know. But anyway, that's the way the people in the Congress are thinking. Well, if we're going to get anywhere with this, we're going to have to grant these people amnesty. And I'll go through some of this article, and then we'll talk about it more. This is, again, by Christopher Sharp. It says the Senate Intelligence Committee has unanimously approved this new Intelligence Authorization Act for 2024, which contains extraordinary, unidentified anomalous phenomena provisions. Noteworthy elements of the legislation include the suspension of United States government funding for illicit UAP programs and the provision of legal amnesty to defense contractors suspected of possessing non-human craft or materials. Regarding the proposed amnesty provision, defense contractors and other entities in possession of UAP-related material or information obtained from or through the United States government must voluntarily disclose it to the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, the government's dedicated UAP office, within 60 days of the bill's enactment. So basically what would happen is once this bill passes, if they come clean, right, they have 60 days. But after that, then the amnesty is gone. So they're basically it would give them a 60-day window to act. So I would say this. I'll just stop right here for a second. I'll just say this. This is going to pass. This is going to be included in this new bill. But in that bill, it's not going to get approved until December. They won't be voting on this full bill until December, right? It's going to pass, right? And so that means the clock is ticking right now for these people. They need to start thinking right now. The people in the control group right now need to start figuring out what they're going to do here. If they're going to come clean and do the right thing already, or not, right? Or continue to try to cover this up. Anyway, continuing with this article, it says, subsequently, within 180 days, any defense contractor falling under the purview of this new law must make the disclosed information or materials available for assessment, analysis, and inspection, and that includes all non-Earth origin or exotic unidentified anomalous phenomena material. If complied with, then any defense contractor linked to potential illegal programs will face no criminal or civil actions. The language is nothing short of sensational, especially for an intelligence committee composed of heavyweight politicians such as Senators Marco Rubio and Kirsten Gillibrand, who are believed to hold presidential ambitions. Sources have informed Liberation Times that committee members have received compelling and credible information from multiple sources that has shaped the language. And there's another proposed provision aims to withdraw funding from any potentially illegal UAP activities that are safeguarded under special access or restricted access limitations. I'd like to just stop there. So they're trying to figure out a way to restrict that money, prevent money that taxpayers are providing, right, to paying for these control to projects within the control group. Which I could tell you right now, who knows how much money has been spent that the taxpayers just don't know about on these recovered craft reverse engineering projects. I'd like to know the answer to that. Continuing here, it says, this applies if such activity has not been formally, officially, explicitly, and specifically described, explained, and justified to the appropriate committees of Congress. And to what specific activities is Congress referring? And then there's a quote here. It says, recruiting, employing, training, equipping, and operations of and providing security for government or contractor personnel with a primary, secondary, or contingency mission of capturing, recovering, and securing unidentified anomalous phenomena, craft, or pieces and components of such craft. Notice the reference to craft, which aligns with the assertions made by former senior intelligence official David Grush, who claimed that the United States government holds intact and partially intact craft of non-human origin. Yeah, so they're being very careful. They're wording this the right way. These people, you have to really give the Congress a lot of credit with what's going on right now. I'm just going to stop here for a second. I mean, these people are fighting about all the kinds of things in Congress, but when it comes to this, there is a bipartisan effort, right? There's most certainly a bipartisan effort ongoing in Congress right now. This is something at this moment in time these people are working together on. I think they all realize, a lot of them, most of them. Now, of course, like that guy yesterday we were talking about, that Jim Himes, okay, he's skeptical of Grush and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, these people are working together and they're trying to get to the bottom of this. I think they've seen enough at this point that a lot of them, they're probably not even telling you everything that they really know. They probably can't because some of it's classified. But I believe that they've reached personal conclusions that there is a cover-up and it does involve off-world technology and non-human intelligences. I'm pretty certain of that at this point. They've seen more than you and I have ever seen in these closed meetings, and there's classified information that they have seen. And in addition, there's been other videos apparently that they've seen that if we were to see them, if the whole world were to see them, that it would spell the end of this whole cover. Everyone in the world would know that there are extraterrestrials here, that there are things here, intelligences that have technology that far exceeds anything that we are capable of. Anyway, continuing here, it says here, furthermore, the bill mentions another UAP-related activity indicating the committee's potential suspicions regarding the possibility of reverse engineering possessed crafts. Analyzing such craft or pieces or components thereof, including for the purpose of determining properties, material composition, method of manufacture, origin, characteristics, usage and application, performance, operational modalities, or reverse engineering of such craft or component technology. So that's a direct quote right from the language of this bill. So yeah, they're talking about the reverse engineering over there. They want this. They're trying to. They're letting it, making it very clear in this language. Anyway, continuing here. Another extraordinary activity that would result in the withdrawal of funding from potential programs pertains to potentially secretive advancements in propulsion technology derived from UAP craft. The development of propulsion technology or aerospace craft that uses propulsion technology, systems or subsystems that is based on or derived from or inspired by inspection, analysis, or reverse engineering of recovered identified anomalous phenomena, craft, or materials. So they're making it clear that they want to know not just about the recovered craft and the reverse engineering, but they want to know what kind of technology, what kind of propulsion technology has been developed from this technology, from this recovered stuff. So that's very interesting. Again, they're trying to cover all the bases in this because they know. I mean, look at folks. The writing is on the wall right now. We are moving toward the end game here. I am convinced. I am more and more convinced. I was very skeptical in the as many of you who listen to my podcast know. But it really seems like right now we're on the road to no return. I mean, we're getting very close to that red line. I think we're going to pass that red line. It's just a matter of time. Is it going to happen this year or next year with this? Do we have to wait for this to pass? I don't know, but we're moving toward it. I can tell you right now. That's what it feels like to me. I can't imagine this going backward at this point. I just can't. Anyway, moving forward here, it says the language then delves into specifics regarding the propulsion aspect and implies the potential existence of an operational craft utilizing exotic propulsion. And here's right from the bill here. It says any aerospace craft that uses propulsion technology other than chemical propellants, solar power, or electric ion thrust. So they're covering all the bases. To clarify, the aforementioned points indicate that Congress harbors suspicions regarding the existence of covert activities possibly orchestrated by defense contractors involving non-Earth origin or exotic materials. These activities are believed to entail possession of aerospace craft that operate using unconventional propulsion technology. Previously, discussions surrounding UAP primarily revolved around sightings of enigmatic objects in the skies reported and filmed by pilots and aviators. However, there is now a bipartisan consensus that potential secretive and unlawful programs related to non-earthly materials should be thoroughly investigated. Again, this is if this goes down, this bill passes, they're going to have these people are going to be granted amnesty. They're going to have to come clean on everything, and that's going to be we could reach the end game by this might be the input. This might be the reason why we finally get over that. We might get over the line because these people are in these programs. I know a lot of people out there believe that these people need to be arrested and thrown in prison for keeping this a secret. But again, who started this? Who allowed this in the first place? Who created this secret little government within our government in the first place? Those people are long dead, right? So, you can't, in a way, you can't really blame the people that are in control today. Of course, a lot of us do. I think that that's ridiculous. That at some point, you're brought in on these programs. People who have been brought in on these programs like 20 years ago. The people that are in control, actually. The people where the reins are handed off to the next group of people to maintain the secret. You would think that some of these people would say, "Wait a minute, what are we doing here? How we can't allow this." You would think that some of them would have finally did the right thing, but obviously it's none of them. None of the people in the secret control group, as far as I could see, have ever tried to do the right thing. I don't know who these people are. We just don't know. Is it a board? Is it a board? Is it like a 12-member board, like Majestic 12? Is it one person? Is it three people? Who is the wizard behind the curtain? That's what I want to know. A lot of us want to know. And I think that we should know, regardless. If this amnesty thing if they are granted amnesty, we need to know who these people are. There's some explaining that needs to happen. We need to know everything, right? If they're going to be granted amnesty, part of that needs to be them telling us what has been going on all these decades. Exactly. How did this whole thing start in the first place? Who started it? There must have been some presidential executive order or executive orders signed by multiple presidents that have allowed this, right? Like, we want to know the details of that. There's a lot of stuff that the American public deserves to know. So if you're going to grant them amnesty, there has to be a push and pull with. There has to be a give and take. Okay, yeah, we'll grant you amnesty, but you got to tell us everything, not just what's been going on, what the reverse engineering program entails, but also how did this happen? Who started this? Where's the authority coming from? How was this authority handed over to you? They are things that we need to know. Anyway, continuing here, it says, the spotlight on such alleged activities has been intensified by David Grush, whose complaint pertaining to UAP has been deemed credible and urgent by the Inspector General of the intelligence community. Speaking to reporter Matt Laszlo, Vice Chairman of the Senate's Intelligence Committee, Senator Rubio addressed the allegations put forth by UAP whistleblower David Grush, and this is in reference to that recent article that Matt Laszlo from Ask a Poll website was that I talked about on a show recently. But anyway, the comments here was, those claims have been made for years, and there's certainly something we'd be very disturbed by, and that's what the gist of the whistleblower's claim is, that there are programs that should have been notified to Congress that were not. So we're going to be interested in that no matter what the topic is. So that was Marco Rubio in that article making that statement. Anyway, it also says here, the language within the proposed bill undeniably implies the presence of specific information. However, it's important to acknowledge that the Pentagon recently declared that the Arrow is unable to validate claims regarding current or past programs related to the possession or reverse engineering of non-human materials. leading to ongoing disputes over such assertions. Nevertheless, it should be noted that the Department of Defense has not confirmed whether this statement extends to programs involving materials of unknown origin that have not been independently verified by the Arrow. Of course, that's something that I've been talking about, too. I talked about that yesterday, of how the semantics game, okay, yeah, the Pentagon declares, yeah, Arrow is unable to validate anything yet. Yeah, because you haven't given Arrow everything yet. That's why. The secret control, they don't have access to secret control group items. So how could they validate it? So they're playing a game of semantics here. And again, that's something else that we need to be aware of. Congress needs to be aware of. They need, especially during these hearings, when they bring people out to talk, they need to really tell them to be very clear with what you're trying to tell me here. Are you telling me, okay, Arrow can't validate these things, but what about other parts of the Pentagon? What about some other departments? Could they validate it maybe? And it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to those kind of questions, if they ever get asked those kind of direct questions in public, particularly. So I guess I say this. I don't know what else to say. I want disclosure to happen, right? But the truth of the matter is, of course, I want to learn more. I want to know what the government knows about these things. I mean, I know that they're here. I know that there's beings here. I know that there's been a cover-up, right? A lot of us do. We just want more answers. We want to know, what has the government learned throughout all these years, right? We want to know the truth, right? The whole truth and nothing but the truth, right? That's all we want. And if it takes granting amnesty, yes, okay, I'm in favor of it. I know there's going to be a lot of people out there who listen to this podcast who are going to disagree with that, and that's fine, right? That's fine. We could disagree. We could all disagree on certain aspects of this. I'm sure I know that we do. I mean, a lot of people disagree with some of the things I say, and they let me know it. However, I think it might be the only way. It might be the only way we're going to get the whole truth, because otherwise we might not ever get the whole truth. And so we might have to grant these people amnesty. But again, with some caveats, like they need to tell us everything. How did this thing get started? Where did the original authorization come to allow something like this? There's a lot of questions I have with regards to that. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. Okay, we are back. I want to go over some of the Spotify polls from the last week that I have put up there on my Spotify channel. I just want to also point out, I always forget to say this. If you like my show, if you're out there someone listens to my show on Spotify, or you're watching the show on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel on YouTube, or follow me on Spotify, or whatever platform you're listening to me on. I know there's people beyond Spotify. It's on just about every podcast platform out there. It's on Apple. It's on a lot of them. So please follow me. Please, if you like the show, give me a favorable review. I would appreciate that much. That would be very helpful to me. And also following me helps me out, gives me that helps on YouTube and it helps on Spotify, so I'd appreciate that very much. And if you like my show here, when you listen to a show and if you like it, please give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate that too. Anyway, I want to talk about some of these polls I run on Spotify. Now, I only run these polls, I only have them on Spotify. I like the way Spotify has things set up for polls. You get the poll. I get to have a poll for each specific episode, so that's why it works really, really well on here for me. And anyway, we're going to go back. We're going to start with, for the episode, Avi Loeb says ET artificial intelligence will contact human-made AI before contacting humans. I asked this question: have non-human intelligences already contacted members of the human race? Okay, there was 133 votes so far. There's still 23 days left to vote on this. And an overwhelming majority of people have said yes. 112 people said yes, or 84.2%, compared to no. 21 people said no, or 15.8%. So have non-human intelligence already contacted members of the human race? I say yes. Now, I just want to get into this a little bit. I was thinking about this today. I just want to touch on something here. In that podcast, I was talking about Avi Loeb's assertion that he thinks AI, artificial intelligence, will contact human-made AI before contacting humans. I mean, that basically was the gist of his argument. It's actually interesting when you think about it. I mean, you have to wonder, are all these beings that come here, what if perhaps that they're being controlled? Like, you see how our world is, the way technology just is out of control. I mean, you look at the last 75 years, actually, since the Roswell crash, right? Since the UFO phenomenon. I mean, you could go back 100 years. You just see how our technology it's incredible how it just keeps improving and improving and improving. All the time, and it's beyond belief, actually. I mean, comparing, like, from even when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, I look at those times and I think about the things that we had then compared to the things that we have now, and it's unbelievable, right? And you wonder, like, what's the end game of this? And now we're talking about AI. There are concerns among people with AI that we are developing on this planet, that someday maybe this AI is going to become aware and take over the whole shebang. I mean, there are people that put that out there. Is that possible? I mean, we are moving toward this kind of possibility, I guess. I mean, you have Elon Musk talking about they're going to be installing microchips into people's brains. I don't know who the hell would want to do that, but that's something that's going to be coming in the future, it looks like. I don't like that idea, but I guess, that means we those people who get these chips in their brains, they're going to be connected to something, right? Or be able to connect to something. But as we move forward, is it possible that computers take us over somehow? It's something out of a science fiction movie, I know, but what if these things that are coming here, let's just throw this out here for a second. What if these beings that are coming here, right, are actually they're actually were made. They are biological organisms, but they were actually made by artificial intelligence from someplace else. Right? Say there was some civilization somewhere that just kept on advancing technologically, over thousands and thousands of years, and then suddenly AI takes over and eliminates all the beings that are independently minded, like we humans are, right? And then replaces them with other beings that are genetically modified, genetically engineered to do whatever the artificial intelligence wants it to do, and that's what's coming here. What if these beings that are here, right, the greys, the tall greys, the insectoids, the reptilians, all right, what if all of those beings were genetically engineered to, because they all act the same, they all act like this hive mentality, right? Well, what if they're actually serving something else, serving some master computer brain from someplace else? What if that's what's going on? And the idea here is what's been going on here all this time is that they're trying to now absorb us in the same way, almost like the Borg. Anyway, it's just a thought. All right, moving on to the next poll. Where was I? Okay, yeah. For the episode UFO Cover-Up and Stigmatization Ruined Wyoming Rancher's Life, I asked this question: have the actions of governments to keep secret the truth about the extraterrestrial reality ruined the lives of some people? Only 50 votes for this one. 46 people, or 92%, say yes, while only 4 people, or 8%, say no. Yes, I think I would go with the yes on that. I firmly believe, because of the cover-up, that's what's going on. I think the cover-up definitely has ruined people's lives. Now, of course, I don't think it ruined my life, right? I think it made me have an interest in it, because when I had my experiences, I'm interested in it. I eventually became interested in it because of that. It didn't ruin my life, though. But for some people, like that Wyoming rancher, obviously his life was ruined by this. Some people who go public with their claims, their lives become ruined because they're laughed at. It's the whole thing is stigmatized, and they become the subject of ridicule. And then next thing you know, you lose your ranch. You're homeless, and your life is ruined, and your family doesn't even want anything to do with you. So yes, I think it does. That cover up most certainly has ruined some lives. Okay, for the episode, Senator Rubio says numerous UFO whistleblowers shared knowledge of recovered alien craft with Congress over the past 2 years. I ask this question: what would you consider to be the best proof of a whistleblower could produce to Congress and the public to finally end the ET debate? Okay, we'll start from the bottom and move up to the top. There were 55 votes on this. There's still 27 days left. So, on the tied for last place is top secret UFO documents and craft storage addresses. Both of those received 3 each, or 5.5% each. Next up was secret video, film, and photos. 10 people voted for that, or 18.2%. Next, it was E.T. Craft / Parts of Craft. 15 people voted for that, or 27.3%. And the winner is Alien Body / Body Part. 24 people voted for that, or 43.6%. Now, that's the winner so far. I guess there's more time left on that poll. So, yeah, I would believe if you were to come up with an alien body and present it to some scientific organization and have the whole thing filmed, live streamed on YouTube or something, the examination, yeah, that might spell the end of it, even before the ET. Well, I don't know if I was to somehow come upon a flying saucer just sitting in the woods while the Greys were out wandering around looking for specimens, and I somehow got in there and somehow was able to operate it and then start flying around with it, and maybe I'll just land it on in the middle of New York or something like that and say, hey, look at everybody, look what I got, look what I found out in the woods. That would be a way to end it too, right? Anyway, moving on to the next question. For the podcast, UFO disclosure might happen this summer. I asked this question: does it seem to you that there's a good chance UFO disclosure will happen this year, finally? 83 votes so far, 28 days left. 38 people, or 45.8%, say no. Yeah, they might be right. It might be no. I mean, this subject has a lot of us jaded. I think I'm feeling a little bit more hopeful lately, right? So I'm going to go with yes, which is the majority here. 45 people say yes, or 54.2%. Yeah, so I'm going with the majority on this one because that's what I believe. I mean, I believe there's a good chance. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. I'm just saying there's a good chance. Yeah, maybe, finally, it will happen. Okay, and then for the episode, UK flying saucers / Grush reveals more UFO cover-up details, I asked this question: did elements within the United States government know about the extraterrestrial presence years before the 1947 Roswell UFO crash? So far, 67 votes, 29 days left. No, only 5 people say no, 7.5%. And 62 people, or 92.5%, say yes. Where would I stand on this one? I know that the majority is saying yes, that they did know before 1947. You know what? I'm not so sure about that. I think I'm going to go with the minority on this one. I'm going to say no. I mean, because I just don't know. I just not sure. I need more evidence. I know a lot of people say, I believe that 1941 Cape Girardeau case is very compelling. The stuff that Jacques Vallée wrote about with the Trinity 1945 case, yes. And then now we have this 1933 Italy case, right? There's just not enough information for me to go there yet, all right? I'm just being truthful with everyone. With 1947 Roswell, certainly, right? Those other cases, the other ones are compelling to me, and maybe, hopefully, if they are in fact real, maybe we'll find something out once disclosure happens. But I'm just not there yet. So I have to go with the minority on this, which is very small, a number of people, by the way, 5. I'd have to go with the minority on that, unfortunately. It might be. I'm not saying that they didn't happen. I just want to be clear. To me, my brain is still starting with 1947. That's going to take me a little bit of time to start saying, yeah, what happened? Actually, the cover-up started before 1947. It's going to take me time. I need more evidence. I need more witnesses. See, the thing with Roswell, there were so many people involved, so many witnesses, so many deathbed confessions, so many signed affidavits, right? These other cases, there's not a lot of witnesses. They're just not. But hey, we might find more out once disclosure happens. Hopefully, we should, right? Especially if like we were just talking about, if amnesty's granted, we need to know everything, right? We need to know everything. Okay, and then for the most recent episode, Congressman's skepticism of Grush's UFO cover-up claims is misguided. I asked the question: Are Pentagon officials tricking members of Congress on UFO questions by playing semantics games? There's 28 votes so far. Only one person says no so far, or 3.6%, while 27, or 96.4%, say yes. I say yes to that one. Most certainly, they are. I believe that they had been tricking them. I think they've been tricking they've been tricking us for a long time with semantics games. Yeah. Yeah, most certainly. Yeah, most certainly. But doesn't put it this way. I still would not be surprised if even under oath in a congressional hearing, if they just lied outright about this. If they just would lie outright about it, wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, so that's the polls up. That's all the polls for now. Well, anyway, I appreciate the people, all the comments I've been receiving lately on YouTube and on Spotify. I thank you very much for that. And again, if you like the show, please don't forget to become a subscriber on YouTube and also follow me on Spotify and or whatever other platform you listen to the show on. I would really greatly appreciate that. Anyway, until next time.